It's always my podcast voice I use. The Podcashed Studios. I'm here with Jim Lavin. This is Anthony Garibay. And I'm here with Alper, too. He's behind the camera and producing and doing all the stuff he does. So anyways, Jim and I met one time before, right? We went out to lunch, had some fish.
Yeah, we went over to sushi.
Yeah, and
got down on some sushi. It was delicious.
Super good. Had some good conversation talking about what we were going to talk about, and he came and checked out the studio and now came back, and we've been trying to connect. It's been off and on, but so yeah, we're here today, and I'm glad to have you here. Appreciate you coming through to the Podcashed Studios in Canyon Lake, California, where we're just interviewing and doing podcasts with people in the community who, you know, everyone has a talent. Everyone's talented, whether it's business or playing instruments or singing or recording, podcasting. Everyone has some talent. So we call this show Talent Time. And here's Jim Lavin. He's here. He's a realtor. He does some construction, right?
That's right.
You're a dad.
I'm trying to be multi-talented, man. I'm trying to be the best dad. I'm trying to be the best contractor. I'm trying to be the best real estate agent. Trying to work out. And get fit.
Yeah, man, just out there doing it.
Yeah. Multi-talent, man.
Multi-talent and multitasking with the multi-talents. That's awesome. So, you know, I know you're a realtor. You brought some stuff you were talking about, but you know, one thing before this, I want to talk a little about you. You know, Jim, right? You know who you are. You know, we're going to get to this because the numbers and the stuff you were telling me, that was definitely eye-opening just right away for me. So there was some good information, and I have a marketing company who caters to realtors. So already, though, you know, brought me something kind of like a thought, you know, about the real estate industry and numbers. So we'll get to that. But, you know, I was sitting here with Alper earlier, and he was asking me what we're going to talk about. And I was telling him, you know, Jim is an interesting person, you know, and everybody, you know, where you're at in your life, success-wise, quote unquote, you know, you've overcome some obstacles and some battles, and I remember we were talking about it. Those are the things that really draw me in, you know, is the things that people have overcome. And you were telling the story about your shoulder and the, you know, the work you were doing at the time, and then you shut your hand in the door.
Oh,
I mean, you really went through it in the mental state.
That was probably the worst point of my life. I'm 43 right now. And yeah, man, that day I just got done with a shoulder injury. I crashed my motorcycle out in the hills all by myself. That weekend I was in jiu-jitsu, wrestling some dude. I was really, really in great shape, probably the peak of my fitness of my life. Yeah. And then I wakeboarded that weekend, and then I was out in the hills, man. I fucking dumped that bike. Oh. Wake up, I'm on the ground, my shoulder's just killing me. Nobody's around. Luckily, I was on top of a hill, so I just kind of jumped on my bike, man, and found the nearest street and rode home. Damn. And told my wife what I did. It was obvious. My wife and my mom were there. And, you know, I'm just like, oh my God, I just totally fucked myself up. Yeah. You knew it too. And what kind of work were you doing at, you know, back then? So back then, I would travel into Anaheim, California. Yeah. I was working at Hardy Windows. They're a great window company. I was a sales guy there. I worked there about 15 years. Oh, okay. So I drive in, measure some windows. I was making really good cash at the time. So that messed it up with your shoulder and stuff, like working and making a living? Because I know you had to overcome some. Well, at that point, I was at a point where I had like 8 houses that I was buying and selling. I was one of the top salesmen at Hardy Windows. So I was at the point where I'm like, dude, is it worth it? My wife was complaining, you're never home. I got 2 hours into Orange County, 2 hours back. If there's a traffic or something. That was every day too. Yeah. Man, that's a lot. There was a couple times with a fire. There goes your day. You know, now you're sitting in traffic for 3 hours. Yeah. There's one time that big tractor truck dumped it, you know, and then now you're stuck in Orange County for 5 hours. Dang. So now you're in Canyon Lake. I'm in Canyon Lake. And, I mean, so where do you live? Like in there, do you live like close to the water? Like, well, it's all close to the water, but do you have like a good view? I mean, I love Canyon Lake. So when I moved out here about 10 years ago, at Tuscany Hills, we bought a house at the bottom of Tuscany Hills. Okay. And they were very affordable back then. We bought it for $190,000. we're like, we're gonna put a pool in.
Yeah.
We're gonna do all this stuff to the house. Well, the houses kept dropping, and then we found another house with the pool, a spa, bigger, for like $205. So we jumped on that.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
And then from there, we found another house in Canyon Lake. So I actually live in Tuscany Hills.
Okay.
But I'm in Canyon Lake all day, every day. I got a house where I keep my shop there, all my tools, my travel trailer,
nice.
All that's in Canyon Lake.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we just moved out. We're hoping to move back in pretty soon, maybe a couple of years or so. But we have to make those goals, and but we're still involved with the community. So I love Canyon Lake. It's nothing like it. So these houses right here. Are these in the lake, or are these just kind of, it says Canyon Lake, so.
Yeah. Funny thing, it's the prices are not $205 anymore.
Yeah.
So, looks like if you wanted to get into Canyon Lake, the most affordable house you can get is $359,000. And that's gonna put you in the trailer park across the street next to that Canyon Fitness.
Right, not inside the gates. But they still have full access to go inside.
You'll have full access, right. So you could probably,
cool.
I don't know if you can drive your golf. You could probably drive your golf cart into the golf course and then
under the little street right there. Yeah, I was noticing some of these people outside my office on the golf course right there, but then there's those mobile homes right there. Mm-hmm. And they had a driveway coming down to the golf course, so I'm sure they do the same thing.
Those are affordable too, so those are going to be in the threes as well.
Okay, all right.
And right now the top dog is a 1.5 mil.
What street's that on?
That's on Seahorse Circle.
Seahorse, okay. Wow, yeah, they got a great view right there.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It's a good little street right there, right in the middle where you can bust over to Indian Beach, or you can go through the tunnel and enjoy that main lake.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. So, where else do you sell houses at mostly?
Canyon Lake, Tuscany Hills.
Okay.
I
mostly locally, right?
A lot of people they don't like to leave the gates. They don't like to leave the gates.
That's true. I heard about that. Like when I first moved in there, that nobody really moves out of Canyon Lake. They just move around to like bigger houses or something different. Yeah.
Last year I did pretty good, man. I pretty much stayed in the gates.
Yeah.
I worked. My neighbor had a flood, so I rebuilt his whole house. And then I did a couple of waterfront homes. So a lot of friends and family.
Yeah. So do you have like a team that goes in there with you?
I do. Okay. I do. I got a really good tile guy who he comes in. He's about a 4-man team.
Yeah.
Very affordable. He'll come in and within 3 days he'll have your whole shower done or like a whole downstairs.
So when you sell a house to somebody and if they want to change something, is it a conflict or are you able to kind of do both for them or how does that work?
Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Sometimes you got the do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, bro, I'll give you all the advice I can give you.
Right.
Where can you get the product the most affordable? What's the best way to demo?
Nice.
So if you wanted to be a home improvement guy, I'll give you free advice and I'll even let you borrow some tools.
That's cool.
If you're the type, you're like, hey, man, I'm working 40 plus hours a week. I don't want to touch this. Just listen to my wife, whatever she wants, make it nice. So there's a lot of those guys out there. They don't want to pick up the hammer and get dirty after work after work.
Yeah, sure. So what else do you do? I mean, what you got some hobbies? You got some things you do? You have kids, right?
Yeah. Right now, my kids are they're becoming my best friend.
Nice.
And when they were younger, they were really, really close to mom. So now we're doing some cool stuff. I took my son to Vegas about a month ago.
Okay, what'd you guys do?
Man, I turned that little boy into a man.
How old is he?
He's 15 years old.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's a good age to hang out, I'm sure.
So we roll in. You know how when you go into Vegas, you pull in, and then what's that street called? The first one over by the Luxor.
I don't even
know.
So
you pull in, and then you bust a left, right, and then you're just going down that main street.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're to the left, to the right.
Yeah.
You got the Bellagio, Paris, New York. MGM Grand, Caesar's Palace.
They were loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just him. You and him.
It was a boys' trip.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. That's cool. How long? For how many days?
We went for 2 days.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You got to see all the casinos and.
So we went down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Okay.
And then we went to the Stratosphere.
Yeah.
I go, hey, dude.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
We're gonna turn you into a man this week.
That's cool. You went on it with them?
Oh yeah. So we went up to the top, and then there's 3 roller coasters.
Yeah.
So there's one roller coaster that it dives off the side of the building, and you're just hanging. And when you're on this roller coaster and get on, doesn't feel solid at all.
It's like rattly and shaky.
Dude, it's rattly. It's making noise. Like it's not a smooth roller coaster at all.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like this, it's on like a teeter totter pit.
Yeah.
So it teeter totters, boom, and then you're just rolling off, and then you roll off the side of the building. And of course we got the front row seats because nobody's riding this fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's just me and my son.
It's so sketchy. Everybody's like, forget that.
Yeah, so we're on front row seat. It's hanging off, and it just dumps you, and you're just pretty much falling out of the seat over the stratosphere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so it did it like 2 times, and me and my son are like, oh my God, like, when is this going to end?
Man, at 15, I don't think I would have went on that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we did that one. That was the first one. You know, we're listening. We're all pumped. You got that adrenaline going. You're like, dude, this is great, man. Yep. And then we went to this other roller coaster, and this one was even worse.
Oh man.
So now this one, it goes off the edge of the strat.
Yeah.
And you're hanging off. Now instead of just hanging off the edge, like say 5 feet, now you're like a good 25 feet.
Yeah.
So you look down, you're like, for sure death at this thing. And then it starts spinning around.
Yeah.
And then same thing, like, we get out there, and we're like, oh, Mace, this is crazy. He's like, I know, Dad, this is nuts. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? That's awesome.
And then you're just looking at each other like, oh, my God, when is this going to stop? When is it going to stop? And then finally you come back in, you're all pumped up. Yeah, that was amazing, man.
We made it.
We made it. So we snapped a couple photos. We got a sandwich, and then I think the last one's called The Big Shot.
Yeah.
So now you go up to the very top. You got to like walk up these stairs, and there's just this track that shoots straight up. I don't know, what do you say, like maybe 200, 300 feet in the air, and you're sitting in there. And this don't feel sturdy either. Like it's windy up there.
Yeah.
And like the whole building feels like it's moving. And this
sure it is.
This metal object, it's making noise. It's freaking freezing. You could see everything. It's like you're on a plane, but you're strapped to the seat. And then all of a sudden, dude, like no warning, bam! This thing just shoots up like a rocket. And then same thing, dude. It's the same story. You just want to get off the thing.
Like, why am I here? That's crazy. That's cool, man. So, what about, you said out here on the lake, or don't you like ride or something? I mean, you do you wakeboard and do you, or
dude, I wakeboard.
I thought you rode or something.
So I ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
I love the wakeboard.
Yeah.
I love the wakeboard. So I finally, like I was saying, from that point when I was at Joe's Hardware, man, I wasn't even supposed to be out of the house. I was supposed to be laying in bed.
Are you talking about when you broke your shoulder?
When I broke my shoulder.
Oh.
So it took me like probably about 2 years to recover from that.
Ooh.
So slowly, and wakeboarding was just my jam, dude. I go to like wakeboarding 2 times a week.
Oh, okay.
And we always look for somebody on the water.
So
we'll kick them a deal, and then we pull the boat up on the water. And we'll be working, like doing some cable reeling fencing or working on the house. We'll be like, hey, we're gonna go twist a couple laps real quick and wakeboard. We'll be right back. No. Okay, you know the canyon lake, dude. Everybody's super cool. They're like, all right, exactly. Go do your thing, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Dang, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, what else is new, man? I mean, I know your real estate endeavors are growing, because we talked about it last time, and you were saying you really wanted to start focusing more on that side of your career, right? So.
Yeah, I would like to. My goal, I would like to get 10 mil. Okay. 10 mil seems like the new millionaire right now.
Yeah.
$1 million is really not that much right now.
All the houses are $1 million now.
Yeah. I mean, the cheapest manufactured home is $350.
Yeah. Definitely.
By the time you get a couple cars in there, I mean, $1 million is really. It's definitely achievable.
Yeah, if you got family and all that, you need 2 or 3 cars and a boat and a house, and I mean, you're at $1 million.
That's $1 million right there.
You're $1 million easily, like right there. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think what's the best way to get there. What's the best way to get to that 10 million? And buying houses and renting them. I think that's a good way to make money while you're sleeping. You know, with my background, if there's a leak or a drywall damage, water heater, it's not really that stressful for me. Sure. I've been doing it my whole life. But the question is, what's the right price? So I was, Canyon Lake, we were both very familiar with that city. So I was looking, I was like, all right, 550 grand, right? If you're gonna buy that and rent that out, what do you think that's gonna rent for? Say 3 grand, 32?
Maybe, yeah.
So if you're at 3 grand, you pay your homeowner's insurance. That's like $120. You pay your HOA. That's $300 and probably going up. And then your taxes, you're about $450. So if you're renting it for $2,100 is what you're probably taking home without any repairs.
Okay. So
there's that PNC bank right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that 550 G's and you put that in the bank, you're making $1,850 a month.
Okay. Off the interest.
Off the interest.
Okay.
Because now, since the interest rate's gone up, now the banks are paying out a little bit more interest.
I see.
So, I don't know, 2,100 versus 1,850. Like, do you just keep your money in the bank right now, or do you, you buy that house and and go through? Because let's say you have some tenant doesn't pay and you got to evict them.
Yeah.
You're better off keeping your money in the bank.
That's it.
What if you have like I said, water heater break, or some flooring gets damaged, or some type of damage, and you're better off keeping your money in the bank.
I have a lot of friends that buy outside of the state, and all over wherever, different states, whatever ones that they're comfortable with, and they have the property manager and whatnot. So, it just really depends, and then I've heard like doing complex duplex, that doesn't have any less than 50 tenants, because if, kind of like what you were saying, if, you have somebody that doesn't pay on a house, then you're paying that every month. Where in a duplex, if you've got like 40, 50 people and 2 or 3 of them are not paying, then you have all these other people paying whatever the,
So they cover it, right?
Yeah, so you're not dependent on just one person.
Right.
You have all these people. I'm sure that comes with more repairs and this and that, but there's a way. There's always
probably less stress.
I would think so, especially if you hired a property manager, somebody give them a place there that they have free rent or whatever, but not free because they're working, right?
Yeah,
so they're managing and it's a trade.
Yeah, they got a good thing. They don't want to lose that, so they're going to make sure that your property is like they take it under their wing like it's theirs.
Yeah, exactly. And people move out or something gets messed up or what have you. You just kind of you arrange it. And then I also heard, like, if you buy them, because I haven't done it, but if you buy them, you can even go through there and make a bunch of upgrades, granite counter, everything's really nice now these days. Upgrade the paint, the plumbing, the whatever it is, and then you charge more a month.
Yep.
And then so
rent's always going up.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be something, pretty fun to do. You get an eye for it and you do it after a while. But being in real estate, I mean, that's you have your eyes a little more deeper into it, with the MLS and
So I bought one in Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Okay.
Really cute little town. Good folks. Everybody's where there was less money, like the more affordable housing. It was just more affordable housing. It wasn't more dangerous. Like there was no gangs, no graffiti. It was just people that didn't make as much money.
Sure. Yeah.
So I went out there, I bought a house, and I fixed it up, and I sold it, and we did pretty good out there. And I think that's probably another place I'd like to throw some more cash into.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good community. Everywhere I went, I met somebody really friendly.
That's cool. Yeah, I like to hear that. Well, I'm going to get out of here, and we're going to have Jim Lavin back. But if people want to use your services, they want to get some work done at their house, if they want to move into a house or sell their house, how do they get a hold of you? What's the website? What's your number? How do people contact you?
You give me a call at 951-233-1522.
There you go. Jim Lavin, realtor, fixes, repairs, builds, tears down.
Multi-talent, bro.
Everything. Thank you for coming in.
Uh-huh.